Big tech earnings in focus as investors parse recent layoffs and brace for potential IPOs later this year. Joining us now is Geoff Yang, partner and co-founder of Redpoint Ventures. And what were we doing? Commiserating, I guess. We're feeling each other's pain. It's
yeah. It's also called talking about golf.
What have you done for me lately? You can hit some good shots, but you know there's a bad one coming, an embarrassing one coming. But no one cares? Is that what we've decided?
Yeah, no one. I'm not trying to make a living playing golf, and nobody came to watch me. So I'm happy with that.
You, I think the last couple of years, we always think, tech has run its course. Thank God you're out here, in this part of the world and in this business, because it's been the Magnificent Seven, and here comes AI. It's just, you're once again in the catbird. You were in cloud early. What's most exciting to you right now?
Well, just to your point, it's kind of amazing. I've been in this business for almost 40 years, and every time you think it's over, something new comes along, and this AI boom is really something foundational. It's a lot. It reminds me a lot of mobile or cloud, and it really is changing a lot of things, and it's really driving kind of a new generation of technology. And I really think it has the opportunity to change the way people interface with technology and the internet. And in some respects, puts the internet more kind of in the background to power all the applications versus just in the foreground where you're directly interacting with the internet.
It doesn't supplant any of these other things. It just augments all these other moves and trends that we've seen. But is it 2x the cloud, the influence, 3x? Is it?
It's kind of hard to say, just because so far, the next wave has built on the last wave, and so it kind of gets bigger and bigger. Even when you think back to how technology impacted businesses or people's lives, it was really always in the background, and now it's really in the foreground.
Is it going to help from an efficiency and a productivity perspective? Is that something you expect to see as early as this year?
Yeah, absolutely. I think in terms of effectiveness, you saw Meta's earnings, and you look at everything that kind of happened with Apple taking, changing some of its data policies, and Meta using AI to kind of power ad targeting. So it's already being used that way. I think it's going to be used to automate a lot of more mundane tasks and a lot of knowledge tasks.
Go ahead. No. Yeah, you read Meta is not a return to the advertising industry, but really something that AI is helping them do to get those numbers.
Yeah, I think it's both. It's a combination of inventory and monetizing new inventory that they have, like Reels. I think it's a better targeting and showing that digital advertising on Meta's platforms can be really useful to advertisers, and there's certainly a little bit of advertising coming back, but it's really coming back more on the digital side.
Do you care about the macro economy?
I certainly care.
Does it affect what you do on a daily basis in terms of investments?
Everything.
Like lower interest rates, all tech investors.
Yeah. It's the
rates.
context, it's the world in which we live, and the companies in which we invest get higher value and with lower interest rates.
But sometimes it's better to buy them when they're not getting the higher value because of the.
Sure. Yeah. No. Absolutely. But having said that, we're fundamentally driven by are there big changes that affect people's lives or how corporations.
So how do you do it? Where you got people scouring the halls of Stanford and Caltech, and how do you do it out here? What's it?
Yeah, I think it's a combination. You always keep your eyes open for really, really smart people, but you have to have a thesis, I think, of how you think the world is going to change, because that's how you get into areas early. And then you go and you talk to the leading minds and the experts in the field, and one leads you to another. And before you know it, you kind of develop an expertise and a reputation in a particular area.
And people come to you.
And people come to you, right. And so, for AI, for example, you have to have some kind of model on where you think the opportunities are. You could start with the foundational models, or you could start with specialty models. From there, there's a need for developer tools, and there's a need for training tools. And then there's the need for applications and agents that implement all that. And you have to have some kind of point of view as to where the opportunities are and where they're not. And I like to think about it a little bit like a checkerboard of how it could play out and where you want to place your bets.
So in the last 6 months, how much have you done? Are you close to doing something big in terms of, just potential investments?
Well, our hope is that everything we invest in it can be big. And in fact, when you look at the venture capital business, that's one of the big changes, that the biggest companies and the things that do represent the next generation of change and platforms are highly valued. And you could argue they're excessively valued, but they're definitely valued.
You've done anything that hasn't been AI in the last 6 months?
Well,
somewhat.
Yeah, I mean, when there's one dominant theme, it kind of that's the landscape changing. That tends to be the theme that everybody kind of goes after. But there are different ways of playing it. You can look at on the applications layer for a second, and you can say, well, how is healthcare and medicine going to change?
Right.
And this is a foundational technology, and you look at ways of applying that so that you leverage your knowledge and your expertise across different industries.